Teens walking into their school with their little iced coffees. Our generation took vodka to school in water bottles, you rookies. So a Gen X uploaded that video, which means she's almost 50 years old, or probably 50 years old, and getting online to bully literal underage children for not drinking during school hours. There are so many things that are wrong with this video. Firstly, it's a good thing that teenagers aren't drinking when they're not legally allowed to. How bitter do you have to be to sit in your car while dropping your child off at school and scoffing at all the kids that walk by holding their age-appropriate drinks just because you think it's lame? This video was totally uncalled for and makes you look like a mean girl loser who peaked in high school and hasn't moved on since then. But secondly, I don't even know why you would make this video, considering you would more than likely have children of your own. Would you keep this same energy with them? I don't think so. If you found out that your child was sneaking alcohol into class, you know that you would be incredibly disappointed with them and would ground them for at least a month. And if you wouldn't be upset and you encouraged them to continue that behavior, then that's just extremely concerning and makes you a horrible parent. It's no wonder you turned the comments off on this video. My generation grew up drinking keg stands in the middle of the woods with a huge bonfire and cops showing up. Y'all drink seltzers in your parents' garage. We ain't the same, babe. Why are you, as a millennial, acting like a Gen X? The same generation that you guys supposedly never wanted to be like. Jesus Christ, never in my life did I think that grown-ass adults would be getting on the internet and try to dunk on literal teenagers because the teenagers of today are being safe and more responsible than you guys ever were. Shouldn't that be a good thing? I don't want to be the same as you. And I know that you don't want to be the same as me. So I don't know why you're trying to compare us in the first place. The only vibe that I'm getting from you is that you realize that you're getting old. And so you're trying to relive your glory days as a rebellious teenager. When all that really happened is that you got a noise complaint from the boomers trying to get some sleep so that they can go to work the next morning. Sorry to burst your bubble, but you're not a rebel and nobody's impressed. This generation goes out at night and calls in the next day. But my generation, we club hopped, got home at 6 in the morning, slept for 18 minutes, and then showed up to work in our club clothes and a club wristband. Dude, I don't even know where to begin. Firstly, are you aware that just because you experienced something in your life doesn't mean that that can be applied to every single person in your age bracket? Because you want to know something? I asked my mum this exact question, and she said that after a big night, both she and her friends would certainly call out of work the next morning. Okay, so I'm here with my mum. She's a Gen X. Right. So, if you had a big night out, did you call out of work?
Yes.
And did your friends call out of work?
Yes.
Why did you guys call out of work?
Because we probably didn't fall asleep. We probably kept doing what we were doing. Or if we did fall asleep, we woke up and continued to do what we were doing.
The same mindset can be applied to Gen Z. I've been clubbing before, and just because I'm not a big fan of clubbing doesn't mean there aren't several other people in my generation who love going out to the club every single weekend. Stop pigeonholing an entire generation of people just because you can't seem to move on from the 90s. But secondly, why would you flex this lifestyle? Not only do I know that you wouldn't want your own children to be acting irresponsible like this, but you shouldn't be trying to spread this narrative to the younger generations that going on a glorified bender is what's cool to do. That's like if I looked at Gen Alpha directly in the eyes and I said, did you know my generation used to eat Tide Pods and drink bleach for fun? What do you guys do? Huh? Lame. Weak. Like, we should avoid the new generations from doing the dumb things that we used to do, not actively encourage the cycle to repeat itself.
I grew up in a generation where we worked. You grew up in a generation where you twerk.
You clearly said this for no other reason than to make the world's most lame rhyming joke, but I'll humor you, okay? Twerking may not have been called twerking at the time, but it started to popularize in 1990 when you were already in your early 20s in the club scene while the first Gen Z was yet to be born. So that's not our fault.
I grew up in a generation where rappers talked about gants and Uzis. You grew up in a generation where your rappers don't know if they got dicks or pussies.
What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? I'm really trying to struggle to understand what you were attempting to say here, but putting your frankly awful attempt at a joke to the side, you're clearly holding on to the past for dear life. Because I can name you countless examples of rappers I listened to growing up that referred to Uzis in their lyrics. I promise you, that is nowhere near as rare as you're making it out to be.
I grew up in a generation where we sang smoking in the boys' room. But your generation wouldn't know nothing about that, because all y'all do is vape. In the gender-neutral room.
Is that the only joke that y'all have? Can y'all come up with literally anything else? But really listen to what you just said there, mate. You grew up singing a song by Motley Crue about smoking. Gen Z is actually doing that. So technically, by your own admission and belief, that actually makes us cooler than you. Because we aren't just singing a song.
Your generation, if you want money, you just set up a GoFundMe. My generation, if we wanted money, we had to go find a job.
99% of Gen Z is self-aware enough to understand that literally nobody cares, as they shouldn't. So we don't even bother, and we just move on. But did you know that Gen X also uses GoFundMe instead of working towards getting that money to buy themselves roller skates and produce an entire musical about your generation? So now what? Because clearly a good chunk of your generation disagrees with you.
Your generation got this thing called safe space where nobody can touch you and they gotta leave you alone. My generation, all we had was an ass whooping coming.
Shut up! My God! Gen X doesn't stop talking about these fictionalized safe spaces that I've never seen a single Gen Z talk about or participate in. Literally ever! What is that? You guys completely made that up to justify your hate towards Gen Z. If there was a space where people had to leave you alone and not bully you, that would be fantastic. I'd love to go there, but unfortunately that doesn't exist. So where are you pulling this from? Things that millennials grew up with that would send a Gen Z into a coma. MySpace. We ranked our friends publicly in order of favorite to least favorite from 1 to 8. And we had no apologies for it. And if you weren't acting right that week, you were off the list. Very publicly, execution style, in the middle of the whole internet. Oh my God, I'm so scared. Oh my God. Gen Z literally had this exact same system with our Instagram bios in middle school.
You know what it never was? That serious. It was never that serious.
But wow, aren't you such a badass? But did you know that when we were younger, Gen Z would upload public like for a TBH posts, then rated you anywhere from 1 to 10 and if they date you or not, and also provided coded emojis that we'd used based on how attractive or ugly we thought you were. And your entire school would be able to look at these posts and laugh at you depending on the result that you got from this person. And did you know that most, if not all, high schoolers back in 2013 all owned an Ask FM account where you could publicly submit hate messages to somebody and everybody visiting your Ask FM page could see them? Or how about the fact that if a kid at your school wanted to bully you, they could just so easily do so by getting your Snapchat handle from somewhere and consistently telling you to unalive yourself over and over again with no shame? Social media has been brutal for literally everybody for the amount of time that it's existed. You're not special. It was a savage time to be alive. It was wild out there on the internet. All you soft kids will never know. I need them to bring it to Facebook one day. Soft! Jesus, you're making yourself sound old. Our generation was unhinged and feral for no reason. We partied in fields of strangers, chugged 99 bananas, played beer pong with beer in the cups, and ran from the cops. All while our parents thought we were safe at a friend's house. Kids today could never. Oh my God. You guys are so irritating. I'm about to snap.
Hey, no, stop, just calm down, don't do it.
Oh my God! You played beer pong with beer in the cups? I can't believe you played the game exactly how it's supposed to be played because that's the name of the game. How else would you play beer pong? Dude, seriously. Jesus Christ. Again, that's like if I said to a Gen Alpha, did you know that we used to play pin the tail on the donkey? With the tail? Huh? Like, yeah. How else are you supposed to play it? And again, you're acting like a boomer. Gen Zs have literally played this game because the oldest Gen Z is 27 years old. Contrary to millennials' popular belief, but a Gen Z has actually been to a party before. Yeah, it sounds to me like you're all just secret alcoholics who missed the days where you didn't have any responsibilities so that you could drink more. Because why are you all so obsessed with underage drinking? Kids today could never. God, aren't older generations supposed to encourage the newer generations to make better life choices for themselves? What are we doing here? Today I learned that the children born between 2010 and 2024 are referred to as Generation Alpha, mostly born to millennials. So there you have it. All you people who like to make fun of millennials, we created the alpha males and females of this generation. You're welcome. Look, I don't know why millennials have such a problem with Gen Z to the point that they don't think that we're alpha enough and that the next generation is apparently stronger than us. But would you say that raising an entire generation of kids who can't go more than 5 minutes without screen time is alpha? Because I personally wouldn't. Would you say that it's alpha to constantly let your kids make a mess of the testers that are in stores to prevent other potential customers from buying the products for themselves because of how filthy they leave the display? I wouldn't say that you guys were raising alphas. You didn't see Gen Z kids doing this when we were younger. Oh, but I'm not done just yet because the millennial generation is the exact same generation that will question whether or not they should line up to meet a YouTuber that doesn't know they exist or attending their child's first award ceremony of their entire lives. This would not be a tough decision for literally any other generation. My mum, who is a Gen X, would have picked my ceremony any day of the week in a heartbeat. And the fact that you even had to debate whether or not that you were going to show up is embarrassing. Yes, you did show up for him in the end. But he's also going to see how this was a toss-up and he was not the immediate decision when he sees this video as he gets older. But no, continue to come for Gen Z, right? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Mwah. I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys!